Carolyn, one of our leaders, is she is just a whiz at things with Facebook and social media. And she has been, ever since we came back, she's come up with these wonderful back-to-school collections and ideas that have just been very successful. And so she's in the car right now driving her kids to school. There she is. Okay, I see her name just came up. Okay. Oh, that's the wrong one. Oh gosh, I unmuted.
That's nice.
I unmuted Sarah Goodrich, who was wondering what are these people doing on my phone, but it's not. It's not mute. Okay, now she's muted again. Poor girl, I'll give her a heart attack. Okay, Stephanie Bruce is the one we're looking at.
Yeah, but there's nothing there to unmute.
Yeah.
For Stephanie?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just has that. Okay, as soon as that microphone comes up, everybody keep an eye on that and then unmute her when it does. Okay. Oh, honestly.
Good morning, Katie.
Good morning.
There she is. All right. Hey, Katie, well, we're trying to get Stephanie unmuted. Could you... well, good morning, Caleb, too there, right. Can you see that?
I'm sorry.
Don't
okay,
worry.
It's okay now.
Okay, good. Can you walk us through can you see the slide that, I believe it came from Stephanie. It was the back to school special that she was putting on Facebook. Can you see it?
Yes, she has been doing a lot of different promotions right now, just because I know her daughter is back to school, and so back to school collections that she's done. Some of them are a little bit cut off, but really what it is she did it according to different categories, like an immune system one, a children's one geared towards teacher, and then if they purchase any of those, then they can get a product free or get free shipping. I know that the Germ-Off wipes make a really good gift for teachers and for kids, because it's a great alternative to Lysol, and it's safer. And every teacher needs stress relief. I would have loved that as a former teacher to have that. So that makes a really nice gift in the basic H, and really just thinking about how our kids are in school all day long. And I can remember when I was a teacher and I would wipe down the desks with Lysol, my chest would start to get tight. And it was the weirdest thing. I've never had that happen, but it must have been I had a sensitivity to the wipes because they're so strong. And then you're wiping down an entire classroom. So imagine how much you're breathing that in, and then the kids are touching it. And so she did these collections, and I think she did a really good job of them.
Yeah, and also you want to mention about she put together gift bags for the teachers. So she not only made the collections, but for the teachers of her kids, she gave.
Yes, I guess.
He is going to be giving the lecture this morning. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's going to have some very happy teachers. She did a gift for the teachers when for her kids when they went back to school, and I believe she made she's really gifted in sewing and creating bags, and then I believe she put some products in those as well for the teachers.
You know, it's such a great topic, and it's one that everybody's ears perk up, because I'll tell you what, if you're going to spend that much time in a school over the next 9 months, you know everyone is thinking about how do they stay healthy. Yeah, we did a lot of my leaders did an event last night, a back-to-school event, and they had 87 attendees. I mean, it's a big topic, so she's smart on this. Yeah, it's big.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. So excellent. So I just think those collections were brilliant. I think her idea of offering an incentive around each one was also genius, and but it also lets people know when you contact them. Now, she was putting this up on Facebook, but you can also text and call people, and then they know right away that you're going to be a health resource to them for all different kinds of things. And this is a real benefit when you invite people to events, to conference calls that you have on different health topics. Even if they don't attend, they know that you are a resource now for them on health topics. So it's all very good. So there are her collections.
And but Barb, you don't need to have children in school if you know some teachers, or you know people with young children. You don't need to, have that personal relationship if you're just aware of them. It's a good outreach with people. Just get out there, get the message out.
That's very good. And then we wanted to cover one other thing quickly. We have a special guest today that we're very excited about, and I'm so glad so many of you are joining us. Carolyn, we're already over 100 people, and we haven't even started the conference yet. So we're very excited about our guest this morning, Presidential Master Coordinator Carolyn Whiteman. But we wanted to take just a couple more minutes till we get to the top of the hour to tell you about a really special moment that we always, the opening day of conference is always, it's always wonderful. We always make sure everybody is at that. And Roger Barnett included something in his keynote address that was really touching. And Joe typed them up for you. So Joe, you want to walk through those? They were really nice.
Oh, sure. I think, yes, Roger read these to all of us, and I think it's a good consolidation of what we're about, what we stand for, what we represent. And the one of it's so true. I mean, at Shaklee, we're just a very, inclusive kind of organization. And this just really highlights the Bill of Rights that we all have. And at Shaklee, every human has the inalienable right to unleash their full human potential, to thrive, not just survive, which a lot of people are doing today, to take control of their destiny, to be part of a supportive, encouraging community. And this is probably one of the most important things right now that we're seeing with people, to be recognized for their accomplishments, to make an impact on themselves, their family, and community, to live free of toxins and stress, to live younger, longer. I like that one. To experience the world, and doesn't that, give us a bigger picture of what we're all about, and to give back, to make a difference, to have an impact. And I just think these are they handed these out on little cards to all of us, and I carry mine around. I've got one of them in my billfold, so that when I'm just, even sitting in traffic or just have a few minutes, I can pull it out and read it to just remind me of what our purpose is all about.
Yeah, that's beautiful, really.
Well, and what happens is when you read that and you internalize that, it comes out in your conversation when you're approaching people and inviting them to join your business. And these are the kinds of things that are a part of our business that really have a lot of meaning to us. Could I just take 1 second and just check the audio for Angie Thomas? Angie?
I'm here. Do you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you just great. Thank you. That's good. Because given our earlier technical difficulties, it makes us feel good when we hear the voice of our speakers. Okay. And so we're inviting Angie this morning. She'll be talking in just a couple minutes about, I imagine, Angie, that Bill of Rights was part of what inspired you with...
Completely. Yeah, I love that you opened up with this. That was huge for me.
Mm-hmm. And for your new director, Laura, that and that's one of the things, I guess. This morning we wanted to bring you a Carolyn because Carolyn gave a presentation at our master's meeting that was really exceptional. She has been a student of the network marketing industry for Carolyn, 40 years, right?
No,
40 plus years?
No, I won't say 40. I'll say 20.
Okay.
That's fortunate.
and she was actually instrumental. She didn't know this, but in my joining Shaklee, because years ago there was a wonderful movie that Shaklee made where this is, I know for you younger people it's hard to imagine a time without videos and internets, but there was, and back in the dark ages, and there was this wonderful movie, and they did then much as what they do today, where they had done, just biographies of different Shaklee leaders, and Carolyn was one of them, and she had been in the Peace Corps, and I just really related to her story and her purpose in life, and so we're really delighted that she's with us today. So, Joe, are we at the top of I think we just hit the top of the hour. So, Lisa, why don't you get us started then?
Yes, well, welcome everyone, and let me just say I have missed you. I love hanging out with this group, and it's just fun to feel like a few hundred of us are together working and like-minded. So this is our first session in our fall business training, 100 Days to Amazing. And wow, are we at a special time right now. It is really something. We're very excited to get this session kicked off. All right, so looking at our objectives, we just came off of probably one of the most extraordinary conferences, really, really special moments. This idea of 100 Days to Amazing is something that is so much more than a statement. Coming right out of Roger's mouth, we knew at the beginning of conference that something was brewing, and I think what we're seeing now is an unbelievable amount of energy. There's a movement and momentum going on in our organization that I've never experienced, and to say that it's a time of focus is shortchanged. It's more than that. So to say that we just have stronger belief is not enough. It's more than that. So we really are extremely excited, and the semester's been appropriately named 100 Days to Amazing. And I'll tell you the thing that I'm so in love with is our objective this semester is to develop every single person that joins this training to do something amazing in the next 100 days. And we know you can do it. And we know it can be done. It was probably one of the most incredible things that Roger brought out at the conference is what can happen in 100 days. We have so much more capacity than we give ourselves credit for. So here we are at a special moment in time where we get to recognize that more than we could have ever imagined can happen in 100 days, and collectively thousands of us are doing it together. So it is really special. And Katie, I want you to jump in and kind of weigh in on this as well. Just your thoughts for the objectives and what's ahead for us as a group.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Lisa. I would say, so I've been in the business for 3 years, and I've just never seen such excitement, motivation, encouragement, and boldness. I think that's one thing that I've really noticed is that people are stepping out of their comfort zones and really looking to share Shaklee. And I'm just amazed when I look and I read some of the posts on the 100 Day to Amazing Facebook group, what people are doing. I mean, literally people are going to, Ashley McDonald had a post today about she went to Starbucks and she took out her life strip, and she got a couple members from that because people were asking questions. She was listening, and so I really feel like we are a part of something.
Wait a minute. She walked
into Starbucks,
and she handed out the vitamin strips, and people became members? Oh my.
She took the vitamin strip. She took the life strip, and she also ordered a coffee, and she put her protein in the coffee, and people were watching her, and Ashley's really good with asking questions and listening, and she got members from it. She shared a little bit of her story,
goodness.
And same thing happened. I was reading recently, Brooke Thomas, she went to a soccer game, and she was listening and listening and listening for needs. She had 3 people order the life plan. From people talking about how they were tired, how they wanted to feel better. So people are really wanting and needing what Shaklee has, and I am so excited. I mean, every conference I get more and more excited, but these next 100 days, I just know big things are going to happen. So, do you want me to go through these different about the Chairman's Retreat?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I am so excited about this Chairman's Retreat. This is going to take place in Palm Springs, California. And what's really exciting about the Chairman's Retreat, I've been telling a lot of my directors, is that when you qualify for the Chairman's Retreat and you increase your PV, Shaklee sends you your base PGV, and then you increase that by 10,000 from now until December. Then you qualify for the leadership retreat. And the neat thing about that is once you qualify for that, then you also can qualify for the new directors conference. So what's really exciting is everybody is getting 2 trips just by growing their business and by and so I think that's really exciting because they've never had this special retreat before. And so by now, from the month of August until December, we're looking to grow by 10,000 PGV. What does that look like? That looks like one director. So that looks like having one. If you break out one director, then you qualify for the Chairman's Retreat.
That's a really good way to look at it. And I was telling my team, having first levels is the key here. Bringing in new people and helping them build is the key. But I would also say make sure that you know the exact target that you have monthly, number-wise, so that you can really keep your eye on the price. You know what I mean? So figure out the numbers and write it down. I have leaders that have created the little thermometer and they're marking it off. Get excited. Katie, you added a really good point. This is going to be a tremendous thing for people to attend. So we qualified for our August one yesterday. I got my points in by yesterday, so I was pretty excited. So we're working hard for it.
Very
good for you, Lisa.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm excited.
We'll talk more about that in subsequent sessions. Caleb, you get to mute for a minute. Okay. We'll tell you more about that because the Chairman's Retreat is not just another trip. It is going to be an experience that will be very special. So being invited to the home of Roger Barnett and Sloan Barnett is quite a special thing. So more on that next week. Okay, but now one other quick, we want you to hear from one other person real quickly before we get to Carolyn, and that is Angie Thomas, who is becoming a new senior director this month. And I have known Angie forever, and she has been building a Shaklee business and took, Angie, how long did it take for you to become a director?
We're going to point that out. About 4.5 years.
That's encouraging for a lot of people.
Well, I think that's important because you were cautious and you were nervous about doing that, and then all of a sudden, in 1 year, you not only go to director yourself, but now you come back from conference and you immediately appoint a new director. And so I want you to quickly tell people what happened to you.
Well, first of all, that's a great picture you chose off Facebook. I know Laura Harper out there is just dying with that.
I love it. By the way, I want to point out that is probably performance in those classes.
It is. That's all we had that day. And Laura's my best friend, and that was such a fun day. So I love seeing that picture. But so for me, reflecting back on what happened on my way to conference, I was kind of thinking about what conference was going to be like, and I was sort of lamenting over the fact that I didn't really feel like I was part of something bigger for this world. I thought I was with some other things in my life, and then that turned out to not be the case. And I was just sort of thinking about that and reflecting and thinking about, how my why wasn't really driving me anymore. And I wasn't really sure where I was, everyone talks about a why that makes them cry, and I wasn't finding a why that makes me cry. So I thought, I'm just going to scoot past all this and not really have a why. I mean, I can fake it till I make it, right? And so then, and that was going to be okay with me. And then I'm sitting there on Thursday morning listening to the initial speeches from Roger and the others at the conference, and maybe it was that Bill of Rights that really just hit me. But I realized at that moment that I am part of something bigger. Not just me and what I can do with my business, because that's big, but what the company is about too. So from all angles, I really am part of something that is doing better for this world. Mm-hmm. And Shaklee, as we've all seen and know, it is part of the greater good for this world. They walk their talk. And that we have a CEO that stands up there and gives us this Bill of Rights of, you know, of how we can all have this wonderful life. And it's not just for us, it's for everyone we meet. And it's not just for people like Roger, who's a billionaire. It can be for anybody. That just really, I don't know, it just was like, wow. And I think a lot when I was trying to like kind of come to terms with that, I think a lot of what I was looking for with my why was always connected to money. You know, okay, my why is to make $20,000 so I can get a new bathroom, or I can do this or do that. And that really wasn't inspiring me. And when I got home, I started reading the Happiness Advantage book from the speaker that was at the conference. And in one of the very first chapters, it talks about how people really aren't driven by money. They are inspired by the lifestyle and what they can do with others and all of that. And I thought, that's true, that is what is true for me. So I'm still not to the point of tears with my why, and I'm okay with that because I'm at the point of getting really excited and energetic when I talk about it. So when people say to me, how was the conference, or what do you do, or how's your business going, I don't just say, oh, it was fine. I can say, oh my gosh, it was, you know, I was there. It was great. Shaklee does a great job with their conferences. It was my 4th conference, and while I was there, I thought, oh, this is just as good as all the others. But when I got home is when I realized that it was my favorite one. And I know without a doubt that I am part of something bigger, and that feeds my soul. And this is what I'm saying to people when they ask me about my conference, not just to you guys. And when I tell them that, I'm getting excited. They're hearing my excitement. They listen in a much different way than the way they were listening before, when I would answer the what do you do question with, oh, I help people from all things, sorts of allergies, you know, such as allergies all the way to, you know, cholesterol. They're like, oh, okay, you know. And so to me, and I get excited, and even if that person doesn't respond in like the best way or whatever, I'm excited and like ready to keep going, and it just continues to feed the positive emotions. So with this 100-day plan, or this 100-day, you know, to amazing that Roger has given us, I really am focused on every single day making some progress in my business. And some days that's going to look like an event, and some days that's just going to look like me responding to my emails. But every single day I'm going to be trying to do something. And I've already seen in myself and in my business and just in the energy around it growth. And then, you know, Laura, who you see in the picture, she came to conference and, I mean, came home and was full of energy. The girl, I've seen her on fire before. Like, this is just, what she's doing is amazing. She's totally, like, she's got her husband on board, and he was always supportive, but like, he is in it now, and she is in it, and they're going to change other people's health, people's financial statuses, their own life, the life of their children. And she is promoting to director by the end of this month. And when I talked to her before conference, you know, what's your 100-day goal? Barb wants to know. She's like, I think I just want to get up to 2,000. I mean, that's all I really want to. I don't want to talk about it anymore, really. And like, now she's like coming up with plans with me. We talk every day about it, and you know, it's just so exciting.
She has a gold member. The next day, she contacted a woman she had met on vacation, and she's already become a gold member one day after she got back.
Mm-hmm. So it's just I love seeing it. I love that you know, there's all this energy around it on the Facebook groups. And then, I mean, just last night I saw a post by Roger that he is committed to posting every day in there, and that instead of having somebody else do it, which he I guess started off by having somebody else do it for him, he's doing it himself. Like, what CEO, billionaire man posts on Facebook? Like, I just think we're part of such an amazing company, and I just am so excited about the next, I guess now it's 86 days. But
I love that you're tracking that. Cool. Thank you. Thank you, Angie. We will be hearing from you again. Thank you. We just wanted people to hear how infectious that excitement and that belief is. And thanks for passing it on to us. And now, over to you, Joe, to introduce today's speaker.
Okay, thank you, Barbara. Actually, I was thinking, so far, Angie, what you were sharing was very inspirational. Great job there in all ways. So to this morning, Barb and I heard Carolyn do this presentation at our Before the Global Conference, and we were so inspired by the things that Carolyn was sharing, that we felt it would be a great way to kick off our fall semester. And Carolyn Whiteman, as Barb said, Carolyn had inspired her, but I remember also coming into Shaklee in my early years and seeing Carolyn in that movie and just hearing about Carolyn Whiteman, this gal who had been in the Peace Corps and was just a true firecracker in Shaklee back in those early years, and was just an inspiration to many. Carolyn currently lives in the Florida Keys with her husband, and she's a presidential master coordinator, which means she has built 2 separate legs of master coordinators. No simple feat, I must say. And Carolyn has challenged us all to think about and to be working on building presidential master coordinators and not just directors. We need that bigger picture. We need that bigger goal to keep in front of us, because that can be inspiring and motivating and cause us to go to Starbucks and put protein in our coffee, even though people think it's something else, I thought that was ingenious, but Carolyn, we appreciate you for all of the pioneering work you've done in Shaklee, and we also love you for the inspiration you're giving us for the future.
Well, Joe, am I on?
You are.
You are. Great. Well, Joe and Barb, and to all of you, I am super honored to be included in this group, because you don't know that I follow you lurking in the background, because I have been able to listen in on some of your presentations, and I'm always inspired by what you guys are doing. So thank you for the honor of being able to be a part of this. And what's really interesting is I think we're all picking up on the same kinds of energy. And so I will be happy to share these things. And Joe, I guess what you do is advance the slides, right?
Yes.
I don't have them in front of me, so I'm going to have to go. I don't have my other copy in front of me.
Oh.
But I'd like to just, so whatever comes up next. Okay. What I'd like to do is start out with a real inspiration and commitment that I have, and that is, what if we really take this inspiration that we're all talking about and look at Shaklee Corporation as being $1 billion North America? What if that is the destiny that we really have and are a part of? And I truly believe that it is. And I think when one of you was talking about having a why, our why doesn't have to be making the corporation big, but what I think it can do is allow each one of us to feel that we're a contributor to something that's really big and that can really continue to make a big impact in the world. So that's kind of my focus is, hey, what if this is a $1 billion North America? So one of the things that we've looked at as people develop their businesses is developing a perfect 10 in several areas. When they have questions about the company or the products or the comp plan, we obviously want to work to get them solid in those places. But the 2 that I'd like to focus on today are the 2 that maybe we overlook a little bit, that I think sometimes stay lurking in the background. And one of them is understanding the profession that we are a part of, which is network marketing, and also the communication skills that we use. So the first thing I like to say is that network marketing is a profession. And when we can really claim that, it moves us from feeling like, oh, it's a little part-time thing, you know, I can make a little bit of extra, I can do this for the kids, and so on. But when we move this into the area of being a profession, it really, I think, changes the perspectives that we have. And so I'm going to give you a little bit of background here. Next slide. Yeah. So these are 2013 numbers for just general businesses. The NFL did $9.5 billion. Music industry is $15 billion. Video gaming is like $76 billion. Wow. The movie industry is like $88 billion. The natural foods industry is $90 billion. But look at this. Network marketing is $178 billion. Wow. Profession. So in 2013, $71 billion of commissions was paid out in global sales and network marketing. And I think it's good for us to really see that we're not just a little drop in the bucket, but we're part of a huge, huge thing. And I see that the leaders in our profession are professionals. So Forbes magazine believes that MLM, I prefer not to call it MLM. I like to call it network marketing because there are a lot of reasons, but I think it just kind of elevates the way we look at it. Dan Henderson pointed to this. One of the most significant solutions for retirement is one of the demographics that, in addition to young moms and those of us who are raising kids and grandkids and so on, that's a very important demographic. Next slide. So here's what I'd like to have us put into perspective. Last weekend, there was in Las Vegas, 3 people from our team actually attended this live. There was an event that had 1,500 of the most powerful women in network marketing that literally came from all over the globe. It was a generic event. In other words, it was a trade association. No one brought the name of their company. There was no prospecting, but it was sharing the best of the best. And at this particular program, they not only sold it out, they have another one coming up the end of April. But here's what else is happening. In October, this will be a continuation of a series of programs that are going on again in Las Vegas. This particular one will have at least 8,000 people. They maxed out the number of people that could attend there. They come literally from all over the globe. They include corporate executives as well as people that are starting businesses in different countries. And at this particular one, Tony Robbins is being brought in to spend 3.5 hours doing a workshop on the power of network marketing. Wow. They pay him $300,000 to come in and to validate what's going on in network marketing. And I just like for us to really see, when we talked at the beginning of the call about the power of who we are and we are in Shaklee, I think we can elevate this into one additional piece, is to realize that Shaklee is not only part of a huge movement, but we actually led this movement. And this is why I like to focus on the $1 billion. So take a look at the 2014 report. This is the Direct Selling Association, which is the professional association primarily for corporate side, that is the legal arm. Marjorie Fine has been very actively involved in this. I don't know what senior corporate people are involved in this now, but this talks about the fact that our profession continues to grow, and more people are discovering network marketing as a wealth building and community building lifestyle choice, and more companies are launching more and more companies and succeeding. So the question is why? What is it that people are looking for? Thanks to Bill Firth, Bill put together an outstanding presentation that's called The New Economy, that really focuses on the realities of the economic world that our kids, our grandkids, and that generations are growing up in now. It's a completely different reality. And so this really brings us to the reason for the importance of being entrepreneurs and having businesses. And that presentation is available on presidentialmasterbuilders.com. That is a completely open site. There is no promoting of anything. It is a happening that really came together by a number of some of us leaders who just said, look, let's move our focus up to elevate it to talking about leadership, because if we're going to have $1 billion company, we need to be focused on leader organizations. It's not going to happen by director. It's going to come by organization. So if there, a lot of those resources are pointed to there. So you're welcome to go there. There's no promoting or anything. Mm-hmm. So this really relates back to something that I found a handful of years ago, and this is from Simon Sinek. And if you have not yet seen his TED Talk, it's available, again, on presidentialmasterbuilders.com, or you can just go and Google it. But this really relates back to what we were saying earlier in the call about getting connected with why, talking about what it is we're doing. And I truly believe that this is the magic and the genius that Dr. Shaklee made available to us in the founding of this company. So let's look at why this is important. Simon Sinek talks about what's called the golden circle. And he talks about the fact that leaders and organizations with the capacity to inspire, think, act, and communicate from the inside out start with why. When we communicate our purpose, this really brought up what we were saying before, when we communicate our purpose or our cause, we communicate in a way that drives decision-making and behavior. And honestly, what's interesting about this is it actually taps right into the different part of the brain. Let's use a couple of examples. Most of the communication that people do, and we all fall into this habit, especially if we got back from conference and, oh, there's a new presentation that tells all the wonderful thing about who we are and what Shaklee does. Every organization is able to communicate from saying, this is who we are and this is why we're great. But let's continue.
Click.
Yep, click. Sometimes we get into communicating how it is that we're great and we're different. So we may say things like, Shaklee produces products that are always safe and always work and always green, and we have the best products in the world, and we've got this wonderful new array of new products. But the reality is it's the why on the inside. And so this is where our impact comes. And here's what's interesting. It sounds like it's like fishy and like too soft and squishy, but just at the beginning of the call, as we were talking about connecting about the motivation and inspiration, through everything that we say and do, an organization can clearly communicate its why to the world. And when everything that we say and do echoes what we believe, then we end up with a message that's really loud and clear. And then the how and the what can follow. People start from a connection with what we believe. And what's really interesting to me about this is none of this is opinion. It's all grounded in the tenets of biology, because different parts of the brain respond to some things. So this is the reason why we say people don't buy what we do, they buy why we do it and what are the things that are important to us. So as we go back and re-message and reconnect with how we talk about conference and where we're going, I think this reinforces for us. So what's really interesting is those of us who had the good fortune to have had our original mentoring from Dr. Shaklee, it's really interesting. None of this is opinion, and he was absolutely a genius in this. And I think I told one of the stories about the fact that when I remember being so frustrated very early on in my young Shaklee career, when Dr. Shaklee would talk about, why do you do the business, and how do you talk about the products and all of this. I needed to hear why. I didn't want to hear why. I wanted to know what makes these products different. How do I talk about them? What am I supposed to do? How do I set this up? I was just absolutely addicted to that. And he would come back and say, look, just go see the people. You know, you've got something to offer. These products are grounded in nature. And his classic statement was, why are these products different? And his classic statement was, if you give me the same raw materials of any other person, from any other company, I will increase the value of what they have by at least 50% by the way we process our product, and do not mess it up, and do not, subject it to high heat and all of that. And that was all he would say. And it was so frustrating, but what I come to realize is he was a genius of really focusing on the why, and saying, when you go out with a message, that's all people really needed to know. Now, of course, we're backed up by lots of other things now, but it really reinforces for us that it's okay to not have all the answers, but to come from the passion and belief of what it is that we're standing for.
It's powerful.
So, our why is not just about making money, and it's what we were saying earlier in the call. That's the result. It's a purpose, cause, or belief, and it's the very reason that an organization exists. So for me, my business is about creating possibilities, and it's about creating possibilities in two different areas. One of them is the possibility on the side of health, and that is being able to raise our families, raise our kids, have access to the consumer education that allows us to make as healthy choices as we can, so that we can reserve the wonders of modern medicine and pharmaceuticals for those times of critical care emergencies when we really need them. But we can be armed with things that can allow us to do what we can to raise our kids and our families in increasingly complicated and polluted world. And then on the other side, it's to be able to create possibilities for financial independence, so that we can raise the level of people's education from being somewhat financially naive to being financially savvy, and realizing, and this is where we get into the profession of network marketing, realizing that what we do is absolutely right on track. And anyone who questions whether, are you in one of those network marketing things, I think you can confidently put your shoulders back, stand up, and go, anyone who still has that perspective is perhaps operating from being financially naive, because they're not part of what's going on right now. So, next slide. So let's talk about 21st century communications and how do we get some of these messages out. Let's make a distinction in 21st century technology. So things like the mobile app and Facebook and all the ways that we get our messages out, that is not the same thing to me as 21st century communications. And this is where I think the market around us evolves, and where I think it's really valuable for us to know, okay, if we got something great, then how do we communicate? So you know how the public is really drowned by some of the newest promotions and all these promises of things that are so good to be true that we almost don't pay attention anymore. I mean, you can't get on the internet without banners screaming at you, audio files popping up from somewhere, and you don't even know where they are. You can't get rid of them. The television is screaming at you. And so in 20th century communications, what we have been able to get away with in the past was to tell people. It was we were on the telling mode. We got to focus on exactly what to say and what words and what the script was, and selling and closing and our elevator speech and things like that, overcoming objections and handling rejection. But I propose to us that in the 21st century, our market is much more cautious. They're much more wary, much more suspicious. How many of us do we know that say, look, I'm so busy, I get, 150 new emails a day, I just go delete, 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 delete. We are overpromised. And I'd like to tell you my story about how this was so relevant for me. I had a phone call on our house phone, which most of us don't answer very much anymore. And I'm sure Joe and Barb will remember this story. The phone rang at home, and I rarely pick it up. But for some reason, it came in from North Carolina. I had just made a call to North Carolina. I thought, well, somebody's calling me back. I pick up the phone, and this very nice, gracious lady says to me, she either said, is Mr. Whiteman there, or she called him Charles, which is his birth name, but nobody on the planet calls him that. So it's like, okay, I am already I am clear this is a spam call. So I say, at least I'm polite enough to say, may I ask who's calling? And she says, I am so-and-so from such and such a bank. Well, now I'm really sure. They want me to refinance my house, get a new credit card, whatever it is they're going to do. And so I very politely and graciously, say to her, thank you so very much for calling. If you'd like to speak to Mr. Whiteman, you need to talk to him on his personal phone. Click. Mm-hmm. And I hung up on this lady. And then I went, which I have a feeling maybe some of you have ever had experiences like this. Like,
sure.
800 call. Oh, they're trying to get me to change my cable plan. Oh, whatever it is. As soon as I hung up, I went, uh-oh. I wonder, I think that my husband has had some ongoing communication with some bank thing that he's been trying to get fixed for years. I wonder if they were actually calling about this.
Oh, no.
So I called him and asked him, and he said, well, yeah. He said, but they'll never call me back. I said, well, let's pray that there's a caller ID on there. So I said, when you get back, see if you can call. Let's hope you can get directly, because I didn't even listen to the lady's name. If she told me, I didn't listen. Well, it turns out that this was, in fact, a relatively senior bank officer who had, in fact, been gracious enough to take this long-time pain-in-the-neck problem that he had had that finally reached her desk, and because he did not have a phone number on his communication, she went online, Googled our phone number, and had this old home phone number, which Eddie's had for 100 years, and calls it home, and I hung up on her.
Fixed her.
That's great.
Now, the reason I say that is because when we look at our communications, look, here's someone who went out of her way to do something really nice, and I hang up. How many times do we have that same situation happen in our business when we go, oh, but I've got the best thing for you, for your kid, for your husband, for your life, for your everything, and you won't pay any attention to me? And then we take it personally and we go, oh, And so I think what we get to do is realize that the market has changed. And so if we are still kind of recycling old scripts that may have worked from before, it's what I call 20th century communications, because the market's different. We're into delete, hang up, caller ID, I'm not going to bother you, text me, don't talk to me. So when we talk about our market, then, what we realize is that today's market responds to things that are based on our relationships, things that are permission-based, things are the importance of asking questions, the ability to give that personal customer service, and it all starts with why. And if we want to be reminded of that, listen to Laura Evans' story about the transitions that she personally had to make in moving from the corporate side and sort of 20th century communication and the way you do things to having to transition to realize what actually works in the market that we are actually on top of. There's a great interview, an audio interview that was done with Laura that's on presidentialmasterbuilders.com that just talks about some of the things that she had to learn. And I know she's done this in other places and did such a great job at conference. So when we talk about 21st century, the question is really what if? What if there really was something that was worth answering the phone for? What if there really were something that could make a difference in the lives of our families and finances and so on? And it may take us more communications to be able to get to that point. So, next slide. So let's look at the core qualities of successful marketing companies in 2014. And this is what I think brings it back full circle for all of us to realize our profession. People are looking for something that matters. This is the core element of all of this growth in the profession of network marketing. We want to matter. We want to make a difference. We want to contribute to others. We want to learn more about ourselves, and we want to be part of something that's greater than we are. We want to be part of a family that cares about us and has our backs and invests in our future. Does this sound like anything that we talk about? Mm-hmm. It's like, hello, this is the heritage that we have come from. And then I think maybe we kind of lost our courage and, it seemed like it was too squishy and, well, people don't really do that. Well, guess what, guys? This is absolutely on track and on trend. And it's what everybody else is looking for in establishing their businesses. They're trying to come up with a philosophy behind a company that they're creating that's designed to make money, but they're trying to come up with a philosophy so they can make it into a why. Ours is grounded. It is like part of our DNA. So, next slide. So let's be reminded again the core values of the companies that are succeeding in the profession of network marketing. One of them is they obviously want to have products that work. Well, hello, we don't even have to stop on that one. I mean, that has always been a core thing for us. Lifestyle, we have the opportunity to portray not only a lifestyle that works for people in just a handful of years, but literally decades. I mean, if you take Coogan's, Ligonis, and Whitemans, I mean, we've probably got, well over a century worth of lifestyle that we get to talk about. And, kids, grandkids, great-grandkids, we can talk about what we did in raising our kids and the lifestyle things that we were able to do and the ability to make a difference. Nice. So how does this look like for us? I mean, come on. Look at what Shaklee's already said. You can just slip through a couple of these. These are just sort of joke slides, but look at the difference we've been able to offer to people. Newsweek magazine, I mean, how many of us can relate to this? How many of us know people that, gosh, I got to drug my kid because something's going on, and we don't want to look at what's in their food or what's in their lifestyle. The issues of weight. If you didn't see Super Size Me, that's a great family project. All the things that we already know. The increasing processing of foods. I mean, you go to the first days of school and look at all the ones that are sitting there with, their Lunchables and things like that, and you go, that's not food, that's plastic. We know what happens to our soils and the things that are sprayed and all the things that are just part of our core. We know these things. I love this one. Dr. Shaklee used to talk about, gee, we didn't used to have to talk about organic food. It's like that's what food was.
That's great.
So the question is, how do we provide the kind of consumer education so that people can look at how do we prevent the things that go in this next slide, which I love. This is Bob Ferguson's slide, which I just think is, if you're young enough that you're not yet ingrained in this, then think about perhaps your parents or, grandparents, but this is an absolutely on-track conversation, and that is once people get into the medical mold, then it's a question of how do they manage their meds, because they've been given this for cholesterol and that for undoing the cholesterol, and this for then helping their muscles because the cholesterol medication did this to it, and this for the blood sugar, and this for their digestion, and this for I can't sleep. And this is the reason that the figures are that people after, I think it's the age of 60 or 65, that generally they're on a minimum of 6 different medications, and that there's something like 17 that is the number of medications that people are on. It is astonishingly challenging. So the public is really looking for solutions. And the two things that the public is really looking for is, do you have something to offer that's safe, and do you have something that works? So look at this great example that we have. We get to work with the Pure Performance Olympians, and to me this is the most classic example of products that are safe and products work. Because if you are an elite athlete, you would never use products that don't work, because your entire professional and training career is based on split seconds and fractions of inches. And are the products safe? Has to be, because they're drug tested all the time. So to me, it's such a simple way, without even getting technical. It's such a simple way of being able to say, when someone says to you, well, do you think this is safe for my kids? And you can say, well, not only have I made the choice to serve this to my kids, but we work with the Olympic athletes, and they can't use anything that isn't safe and doesn't work. So it's kind of like, that's the fun thing. The picture up in the top left, I have to say, was a fun one, and that was a picture at conference with Troy DeMay, who is the bronze medal diver, and he pulled out his medal and said, "Would you like to wear my Olympic medal?" And I said, yeah, I would say. Yeah. And so they had given us these big, beautiful medals that we had that had to do with, our rank. And so I said, well, how about I'll trade you my Presidential Master medal? Oh. So that was the picture. And so he jokingly said, well, how long did it take you to get yours? And I said, he said, well, it took me 33 years. I said, well, it was kind of an inspiring time.
Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, look at what we have to offer. We've got all of the long-term results of things that we know, but these are like in the background. We can start with, hey, the products are safe and the products work because they start with why. And then, look, how many people get to talk about the fact, oh, yeah, our stuff went up in space. It's like, this is as great a solution for the astronauts as it is for all of us and for our family. So, so just kind of a cool little thing to remind of. So, next slide.
Well, that was Katie all of a sudden. She got unmuted. Go ahead.
Okay.
Keep going.
So let's look at the 2014 numbers for the profession that we are a part of. And let's focus just for a moment just on the U.S. numbers. Let's look at between 2011 and 2014, the sales within the channel of direct selling, the profession of network marketing, which is what I like to say, they increased just in North America between like $30 million and $34.5 million in sales. And look at the number of people that are involved. Starting in 2011, it was like 15.6 million. Now there are 18.2 million people that are involved in the profession of network marketing. And so I'd like to just go back and remind us that if we are still living stories about, oh, well, are you like one of those companies? And, I heard about Uncle Charlie back in the, 70s, and he piled up his garage with a bunch of stuff, and those guys are just a bunch of hype and just a bunch of scam. What I'd like to offer to us is a different interpretation, and that is the fact that we are absolutely at the forefront of a very, very powerful and important profession. And we invented it. We created it. We were the pioneers of it. We are the guys who started this. And if we question what is, quote, network marketing, I believe that you don't have to look around very far in your life, in your in spouses, professional lives. You don't have to look around very far to figure out that networking is what makes the world go round. Where do you find the gym? If you are transitioning from one job to another, where do you go? Back to the people you went to school with, back to the people that you worked with, back to the people that you were on a project with. We network our doctors, we network our schools, we network everything. And so all network marketing is the 21st century adaptation of what has always been what drives people's communications. I mean, look at politics. Look at everything is all a matter of networking. So we are so on trend. And so my mission is to have us really accept the fact and not feel like we've got to hide or, oh, this is just like one of those things, or have to deal with coming home and listening to, Uncle Charlie or, whoever say, are you doing one of those things? Yes, we are, and we are professionally and leaders in it. So, next slide. So, back to reminders, the 4 reasons that people are exploding in this profession. They're looking for great products, they're looking for income and freedom, and they're looking for a way to make a difference in life. And those are the things that are so on track for us. Next slide. So, back to being reminded. What are the core values of those companies that are succeeding? And boy, don't we just fit perfectly into that? The products, the lifestyle, and the ability to make a difference. So it all really does start with why. And so I remind us and encourage us to be comfortable talking about the mission and realizing that those are the things that people really connect with. All the details will begin to happen, but it really is okay to start with why. And then next slide. So when we focus on this $1 billion in North America, I just think that we are part of such an important movement, or whatever you want to call it. And hopefully our job is to really get the pride in the profession that says this is something that's really, it's not just a kind of a cute little idea, but we are very much on track globally. So here's just one of the things that I'm personally doing. For example, the coming program that's coming up, if you're not someone that works with GoPro or any of the other resources within the profession of network marketing, I invite you to consider doing that. And here's what I'm doing. You can actually go online to networkmarketingpro.com. It's an open site. It's generic. There's no brand names ever mentioned. And it's nothing but some of the best practices for anyone. And if you go online, this particular recruiting event, you can actually stream it live. You can subscribe to an online streaming and be able to listen to the entire program without attending. And one of the things I'm looking at doing is making this an event that I get our team, when I know exactly when Tony Robbins is coming, I'm going to make that a team event, and we are going to sit there and watch this. I already have the subscription to live stream it. We actually had one of our people say, what would it be like to rent a portion of our movie theater, one of the little multiplexes, and get our business organizations together to really get a sense of the profession that we are a part of, and really add that to one of the things that we get to add. I mean, we know we've got the products and the lifestyle and the energy and all the rest of that, but sometimes I think we overlook how powerful the profession is. So that's just a kind of a next steps idea. And this is my close that is important. That is, I so believe in the mission that we are a part of, and saying that we don't inherit this land from our ancestors. We are borrowing it from our children. And this is the model that we all work to set with how we're raising our kids, the lifestyle choices that we're making, and how we can make impacts in our communities. So thanks to you guys for the opportunity to share.
Well done, Carolyn.
Oh, Carolyn, we are getting like 89 messages are coming in saying, this is excellent. And let's go quickly to our action
steps. Don't you love
that
name for company, though, Barefoot Possibilities? I think that's
I know. It is excellent. And then we'll give you the information about where we're going to be archiving this. Okay. Katie, I think I muted you because...
well, let me just add in, I remember, Carolyn, when I was first starting my business, a statement you made that really got me in my heart, and it was so powerful. It said, I'm not motivated by wealth, but I am motivated by poverty. Mm-hmm. And that's where I was. So this has been a great day, lots of great information, but that came back to me. It was a really big kind of unleashing in my life, saying it is okay to work hard and to strive for better, because I don't want to live in this situation that we were in, So
thanks, Katie.
That's a good one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about our action steps, and then when we get Katie on, I'll have her come in and add some thoughts too.
She should be on now.
Okay,
Katie,
good.
Here?
Almost.
Unless she's still muted.
I'm here.
So here we are, getting ready to start the next 100 years in our company, and we have this amazing amount of time that's been so beautifully handed to us to accept this 100-day challenge to amazing, and we are really excited about it. And the next few months that we spend working on this session, it's going to be exceptionally fun talking about the different plans and how to create and how to get there and how to reach there. So we're just excited. The numbers today are through the roof, so that's thrilling to kick off a semester like that. So Katie, why don't you go ahead and take us through the first couple action steps?
Yeah, so I know that our team is really looking to grow these next 100 days. So these are a couple of different things that our team has put into place. One of them is I began realizing at Global, when I saw all my different friends that I reconnected with, the power of our community. And I started realizing how much my friendships with certain people in Shaklee have meant to me, because they have encouraged me, they have motivated me, they have kept me accountable. And so one thing that our group is beginning to do is have coaching circles. And these coaching circles are with like-minded people who are in a similar stage to you, who want to grow and have goals set in place. And so our coaching circle just looks like a daily check-in of, what did you do today? What do you hope to do tomorrow? Any struggles we have to overcome, and encouragement and motivation. And I have found that has helped me tremendously in growing my business, to be able to have that accountability and to be able to have people to touch base with. But also, you can't hear Carolyn's message this morning and not want to share the business. And I think that has been huge with our team. Is just in, what has it been, a week and a half since we've been back from Global? 2 weeks, I guess. Not even. And our team has already grown by 4 distributors in just that short period.
Oops.
And it's because of what she... Go ahead.
You're back. No, we lost you for a second, but you're back. It's okay.
Oh, okay. It's because of what she shared today about how can you not proudly share this with your friends. And I know that when I'm sharing Shaklee, I don't feel like I'm inconveniencing them. I'm not ashamed to share it, because I know how incredible this opportunity is. And so even just now, I'm thinking, wow, this is so true of Shaklee, and I'm really excited to take these action steps and to make a plan, and to make a plan to share the business, because how can I hear this today and not want to have more and more of my friends on board?
Nice.
That's right.
Very good. Very good. So when we're looking at creating your 100-day plan, I'm going to give you just 3 quick points, and then we want to talk about an archive training. And these are straight from Barb, and they're floating all over the universe now, and they're great. So when you're creating your 100-day plan, if you have it, the first thing you want to look at is, where am I right now, and where do I want my business to be at the end of November, right? And then number 2, you write down all of the names of people that you have, that you're working with, and that you want to work with, and you put an action plan to that. What kind of meetings can they have? What kind of meetings can I help them have? What kind of meetings can I get them to? Lots of different things. Facebook, three-way calls. You guys know the scoop, right? And then number 3, and this is the part that I love and we're finding is so valuable, is the vision. And, Angie did a beautiful job talking about what that did for her. She came home, got off the plan, the vision was in place, and people are coming now into her business. So you've got to make sure you have a vision for your life, and you've got to decide, how is Shaklee going to help me express that vision? How is Shaklee going to bring that about? Where is Shaklee's role in that? And make sure when you're looking at your vision that it's not a goal, it's beyond the goal. Right? It's beyond just reaching the rank. It's that deeper piece. So that's the 100-day plan. Coaching Circle is great. I'm going to throw this out right here. Carol Cash has created a wonderful Facebook group for this training session called Learning from the Masters. So if you're not a part of that, join that group. Just type that in your Facebook search bar. And Carol does a fantastic job keeping us up to date. Reach out to people if you don't have a Coaching Circle, because it will be hugely beneficial for you. And then, Joe, I think this was your idea. There's some beautiful archive training out there, but there's one out there called Getting Started, and it's right there. Joe has it, the session 3, January 29th. You can go back through the archives, pull that up. And I think what Barb said is if you have someone who wants to build a business, they must listen to this first. And I think that's really good because it gives us some nice skill sets on how to talk to people and work with people. So I think we all should go back and listen to it, to be quite honest. But this is the beginning of something really exciting, friends, and we're so happy that you're all on here with us. So anything else you guys want to throw in for action steps?
Well, I also have, we've been getting some questions. I just want to tell Carolyn, just all kinds of kudos are coming in of thanks. And so right in front of you, you see the website. These sessions are archived at bobsfiles.net. That's a free site, and the audios are there. But there is a subscription site that is a companion to our Better Health in 31days.com, and that needs to be password protected because we talk, pretty frankly about nutrition and health and health topics, and so that is by subscription. But you can go together on that. But it has a companion website now called BetterFutureStartsToday.com, and Chris Spell, the webmaster who records all of this for us and edits it and posts it and maintains that site, he now creates podcasts for you. So many people are mobile, thus our mobile apps, and next week we're gonna sort through a lot of the new stuff that came at us. I know it's been confusing for people. We're gonna sort that through, but not just to review it. You've heard all that on the last 2 Monday nights that the company has done, and they've been excellent. But we're going to sort through and talk to you about the strategies for that. How now do we use all the promotions that are out there, because there's about 189 of them. All the ways you can get free membership and then free shipping, and some qualify for the free membership, but they don't qualify for the free shipping. I mean, it's a lot of stuff, and we're going to attach. There's a really, really cool chart that I think Kathy Keating made last week. We'll attach it, but it's called What's New, is it, Lisa? Is that what that chart is called?
Oh gosh, I left it in the kitchen. I think it is What's New.
Yeah, something like that. It's very good, but even that has a lot of information on it. So we're going to sort through that. We're working on that for you for next week. But the point is. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I was just going to say, talking about the strategies, I mean, the company can tell us, with what Carolyn was saying, the company can tell us the what of our products, and we need to focus on the why and how. Now, what do we get, how do we use this and why? So that's
and the more clear you are, the stronger it is, and the stronger it is, the more attraction there is to what you're doing. Before you even say something, I think it's just a magical moment where you're strong and people are drawn to it because they can sense it. So, very good, Joe. Very good. So.
We'll have you read all of these, Carolyn. It's so sweet. People are saying Carolyn explains things so well. It's
really, she does.
Good.
Well, Carolyn, what was the?
Go ahead.
I was just going to ask the questions. People are wondering about the website that you talked about for network marketing.
It's networkmarketingpro.com.
That's right.
And that is, I have never seen anything that is not totally clean. It is completely professional, and what it does is it just elevates the conversation. We are part of a very large movement, and as I said, they just some of our team was at the last meeting, and they said that they said from the very beginning when you walked in, if you even mentioned the name of your company, let alone if there was any conversation about, we want to get you into this or what it is that you're doing, there was absolutely nothing of that. This is all about elevating the profession and maybe getting us over some of those old, decades-old stories about, is this one of those things? And really just being able to pick up on the fact that our profession is so on track. And so I think it allows us to be really proud of it.
That's good.
And it's Network Marketing Pro.
Networkmarketingpro.com.
Right.
And then, Lisa, would you repeat Carol Cash's Facebook page? They're also asking about that.
It's learning from the masters. And typically when you're on your Facebook site and you just start to type something in, it will give you some options. So really you should type in learning and start to see it pop up. It's a closed group. I think it's a closed group. Carol will add you or an administrator, but she just does a beautiful job at sharing thoughts and stuff. It's an extra nice reminder of staying tied into this.
Monica said she went to something about the masters and it was about the food industry.
Yeah, so don't go there. Start with learning. The other Facebook group I saw a question about was the 100 Days to Amazing. Now that's the one that Shaklee is put together for everyone who's doing a 100-day goal, and just go to 100 Days to Amazing and then you request to join and you'll get approved by an administrator there. And that's the one where Roger Barnett is posting daily, and you know what? There are some incredibly inspiring things that people are sharing there. So it's a wonderful place to go to.
Okay, so one little word of caution is that there are about 182 Facebook pages, and they're all wonderful, and groups. There are conference calls, there are webinars, there's a lot of stuff going on. Be very careful that pick those things that are key to helping you build your business and your distributors, and stay focused on just those things, because you cannot get to all of them or you become a professional webinar attendee.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so one of the reasons that we archive all of these trainings is in the last year, we really learned some stuff. And hats off to the leaders who are in all of these different age groups and all of these different ways of taking the fundamentals of our business and then applying it to technology and to their world today. And starting with last summer, we had our session last summer. It was called Shaklee Summer School 2014. It was 8 weeks to director. If you have somebody who is starting right today, you don't want to wait, 3 weeks or so until we're going to be covering that this fall. You want to get them started now, and you want to be ready to know what to do with them. You don't want to lose a minute. You don't want to lose a day. You don't want to lose a week. That's why they're archived. And so one of the things I've recommended to our group, so last summer we did 8 weeks to director. Then in the fall we had 12 weeks. So everything we did last fall was about how to take everyone who was new on, who joined us on that in that semester, and make sure every one of them was at least to director by the end of the semester. So we covered all the basics, and we have an hour, so we go into detail about some of these. And so some people really need to work on how they speak to people, asking questions, not doing the sales pitch, what Carolyn was talking about, but really learning how to express how they feel about what they do. And so they may need to listen to that particular session 42 times. I don't know. but they're there. And others, they want to understand, how do you have a conversation about the business? And there's one session that really does a deep dive into that. So they're all there. And then starting last January in the spring semester, that was all about now becoming a coordinator, how you develop leaders. And it puts you, as Carolyn was saying, in a different perspective. And then what we're doing now with the 100 Days to Amazing is we're suggesting that you think even bigger. That's why, Angie, people were just saying, there's several people that said special thanks to you, Angie, because you expressed where you were is where they are now.
Yeah.
And some of them said, there's hope for me, because it's all about having a new thinking, a new perspective. And, we all have so much talent within us. And that was what resonated with us in Roger's keynote speech, was that we need to be aware that there's so much more within us than we ever recognize.
Yes.
And now is the time to bring it forward. And that's why he said 100 Days to Amazing. That is a powerful concept. And I would suggest for, if you keep a bulletin board, which I would recommend you do, that you just take that phrase, 100 Days to Amazing, and put that up there and see, 100 days takes you to the end of November, but for the Chairman's Retreat, we really have till the end of December. And you put that up there and you look at that every day and remind you that within each of us, we have lots of things that are amazing, and we can learn the skills we need to learn. That's the point. So lots to come. We're just starting our semester. Carolyn, you have been the perfect kickoff for us to give us a perspective about how proud we can be of this wonderful industry. I mean, honestly, I bless the day every day when I get up that I get to work the way I get to work, and I get to have the life that I have with all the freedom around that. And I don't take it for granted, because, I can never remember a time when so many of our moms and baby boomer women and who said that their major why has become to help their husbands get out of corporate America.
Yep.
I don't remember hearing that when I started my business, but boy, it's a big one today. It's a big one today. So thank you all. We'll be here next week. And
and Barb, thanks to all of you. I thank you for the inspiration from all of you. Thanks for honoring me by allowing me to be a part of this great team that you guys are there. And like I said, I sort of lurk in the background because I've been honored to be able to tap into some of the things that you're doing. But thank you so much for the honor and the opportunity of being together. Now let's go make this a billion-dollar North America and all the things that can make a difference for other people.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. 281 people were here today.
Yeah, we're going to break the 300 mark.
Have a great week, everybody, and don't let 1 minute go by without.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Oh gosh. Okay. Thank you. See you next week. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye.